What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Been absent for a minute. For that, I apologize. I do have some topics that I've been waiting to talk about, but been developing them out in addition to just being busy with other stuff, work, USPSA, match directing, my own competing. We just had to hit the pause button for a little bit. But one of my people out in the field hit me with this question the other day, and it is actually a really good question. That doesn't get talked about very much, so I thought I would share some thoughts on it. And that is accessing the battery tray on a Defender ST. Can be kind of tricky because the turret cover or the cap kind of looks like that underneath. To the layperson, be like, oh, it's a Phillips screwdriver head. Well, yeah, but that junction there is really big. So for the most part, if you just get in there with a Phillips screwdriver, you're going to strip it out, which is probably where this person was motivated to contact me. It's also frustrating because if this is the red dot housing, the side view of the red dot housing, the turret, or not the turret, but the battery cap is kind of like right there. So it is underneath the hood. So you don't necessarily have a straight shot at it to get at it with a screwdriver. Someone out there who's very clever is like, well, why did they design it that way? I don't know. Okay. There's probably a reason because it would be something they did on purpose, i.e. like that little bevel right there. They cut that in there on purpose so you can access the battery cover. Has something to do with the angles of how everything has to be. Certain electronic pieces and optical devices in there, they just need to be in certain places. They have physical sizes. It's just how it worked out. The here, the why, neither really here nor there. You just have a dead battery and you're trying to figure out how to get in there. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So if you're trying to get in there and you're having a hard time, what are your options? Well, the best option would be to have the tool that was designed to go in there. Now, it's kind of a wonky tool, I'll give you that, because we don't have a straight shot in there, so they kind of give you this one as a hook at an angle. It's kind of a rubbing your tummy and chewing bubble gum at the same time kind of thing. You do have to be careful. You can still strip it out with this tool. That is soft aluminum. So if you're kind of a Mongo and you kind of destroy stuff, first, let me just like speak for everybody in your life and say it's not your most endearing quality. But you do want to be careful. That is soft aluminum material to get in there. And so the best option is to have the tool. But it's kind of a weird tool, and basically it's a multi-tool for everything you would need on the Defender ST. You can access the battery cover, you can adjust the windage, you can tighten the screws. It does all the things. It's a fairly convenient size to have around, but you get one, with an optic, you maybe have multiple places that you want one. So what do? Easiest option would be to hit up service at vortexoptics.com, maybe ask for one or two more of these, and I'm guessing those folks would probably send you one for like free $99. So the easiest thing to do is have the tool. However, even I, with as much access to the tools as I have, I still find myself in places without the tool and needing to access the battery tray. So I have come up with a few devised methods of getting in there. Again, it's soft material. Be gentle, okay? Because once it's stripped out, you're essentially looking at sending it back, all right? So Mongo Smash is not the best way to get in there. The runner-up, the second best option is actually the Defender ST, the CCW tool. I actually like this tool a little bit better. It has the same cross on the bottom, and like on my bench here, I can actually get in there and turn it. But like I say, if you're not careful, it's not sitting in there straight. It's kind of sitting in there like this. So the reason for the angled tool was so that you could sit the head on there flat and get a better purchase on it. This will strip out the cap if you're not careful. However, form factor wise, it's easier to like have these around. So I actually like this tool better if you have a Defender CCW. But that's the runner up. Second place would be this one. But if you're not going to use our tool, all right, if you don't have one, you don't have one in this place for whatever reason, you're at a class, you know, full of aim point people or whatever, and you don't have one, what do you do? And here's what I recommend. Here's what I do when I don't have the tool. I use a screwdriver. Now, again, remember, you can strip this thing out, so be careful, all right? But I get in there with a big screwdriver, and so essentially I will try to approach it at the angle, all right? And I will be, instead of, when you look at a typical screw, people tend to, you naturally want to line up circles, right? So everybody tries to turn it from the middle. Unless you have the tool, you're not going to have a screwdriver that's going to fit this and get a good turn on the middle without just stripping out the corners. So instead, I try to get in there with that flat blade screwdriver. I try to go all the way to the end of where the screw is cut out, and I try to pivot it that way. So I will go this way. I will get to the end, or on the outside edge of the turret cap, and then I will somewhat rest on the top of the housing, and I will pivot off of that. I'm not prying on it, all right? It's just a point of contact, and then I'm going to try and pivot it around to turn the thing. If I was like going to turn a big, you know, like a big lid on something, I'm more turning it than I am spinning a screw. What size screwdriver? Well, if you're doing this, it's probably the size of screwdriver that you have. All right. I would call it a medium size screwdriver. All right. So like, here's the random one that I've had for years. Involuntarily inherited from my father. He probably is still looking for this. It doesn't know that I have it. Sorry, Dad. But then he doesn't watch my YouTube channel. So, but random screwdriver that's been around my house forever. You probably have one this size. All right. This is too big. This is too small. All right. Something in the middle. These are just the three that I have to grab. But I get in there kind of like that. And I'm trying to push on this corner, not pry in the middle. Pry in the middle, stripped cap. Edge, you have the most leverage, and you have the most ability. I just kind of walk it out, quarter turn at a time until it comes out of there. All right. And the same way to go back in. You don't have to get super tight on this thing. All right. We just want a good solid contact for the battery and to keep the water out. But that is how I do it. Just a normal everyday, I would call it medium or standard size screwdriver. The more it fills this gap, the better. But at some point it's too big and you can't get in there. All right. So, the biggest one you can get in there and kind of get some leverage on it to walk it around. That's what I do. But if you're looking for ways to get off your Defender ST battery cap, and for some reason you don't have the tool, all you need is the most universal home improvement tool in the world, certainly in the US. You definitely have one of these though. And that's how I do it. If you have any questions on any stuff like this, any ideas for topics you want me to do in addition, you're like, oh man, I'd really like to hear what you have to say about that pistol. It's coming. It's coming. We did a Hudson H9 video for Vortex Nation. But I'll probably talk a little bit more about actually shooting this thing a little bit more here. and that's coming down the line. So until next time, y'all be easy and get those battery changed once a year, twice a year. Do it annually though, and your heart won't be broken. See you next time, guys.